All right, thanks so much for being with us here on Atlanta News First Plus. I'm Joy Lim-Nakrin. Just want to share with you some of the top stories that we are following right now. Starting with news of an officer-involved shooting that happened at a gas station in Roswell. So it happened just before midnight at the Racetrack gas station, which is on East Crossville Road, just off of Holcomb Bridge Road. And police say that they were forced to shoot a man after a SWAT standoff. I want to get now to my colleague, Atlanta News First reporter Bridget Spencer, who has more on what happened.
At this point, the GBI has taken over the investigation. You can see that police have the entire perimeter of the racetrack taped off. They are taking plenty of photos and collecting evidence, even leaving some evidence markers right here. Here's what we know so far. Just before midnight, Roswell police were the ones who got a call about a suspicious person at this gas station. Now, when they got here, they noticed a man had a gun and he was not listening to officers' commands. Now, police say he barricaded himself at the front of the store. Employees were immediately evacuated just for their safety. Now, for 2 hours, police say they tried to negotiate with the man and get him to turn in his weapon and to surrender. Now, he started shooting at police at some point, and that's when they shot back. And the suspect, we're told, did die at the hospital. Now, the GBI oftentimes will take over an officer-involved shooting investigation. They do it quite often to cases across the state. We are working to learn more about what happened to these officers and what's expected next for them. In Roswell, Bridget Spencer, Atlanta News First.
And our thanks to Bridget for that report. Also just want to share with you an update regarding the former chief of staff of the former President Donald Trump, Mark Meadows, of course, one of 18 defendants charged in that massive election meddling case out of Fulton County right here in Georgia. So this is a brand new development. A Fulton County judge has denied that request by Mark Meadows to pause a ruling that essentially sent his RICO case back to state court. So it's still going to go back to state court is what all this means. And last week, a judge rejected another request by Meadows to move his case out of Fulton County into the federal court. So that's kind of the backdrop for all of this. And that could have implications for a lot of other defendants, including the former president, who were considering similar moves as well. Of course, the former president announced that he was considering a similar move with his legal team. The news also comes as the Fulton County DA, Fani Willis, has made another push to hold one trial in October for all 19 defendants in the Georgia election subversion case. And, the judge in the case is expected to issue a decision in the coming days, but has already expressed some heavy skepticism of actually holding one joint trial. Yesterday's filing was a follow-up to a hearing last week where Willis's prosecutors made arguments about trial timing and keeping the case together. Some of the defendants have already invoked their right to a speedy trial as well. Some of them would be open to that date as a result of that, but some of the defendants are arguing it doesn't give them adequate time to prepare. That includes Trump's legal team as well, saying that it would not give them adequate time to prepare. Okay, I also want to talk about this. A lot of people, students, teachers that work in one particular area in Decatur, just by Agnes Scott College, are calling for change after a really frightening situation. A crossing guard, really beloved by the community, was hit by a driver. That driver then allegedly took off. So, of course, this crossing guard badly hurt, and is now recovering. Thank God did survive, but the driver, again, took off, allegedly, and is now behind bars. That's the good news. So hopefully some justice will come out of that. But I want to get to my colleague Madeline Montgomery with more on what happened.
I'm right here at South Candler Street and East College Avenue. It's a really busy intersection. A fill-in guard is going to have to help students cross over here because Jeffrey Smith is still recovering after being hit on Monday morning. Police say the 69-year-old had his back to the driver that hit him and then drove off while he was helping students cross the street here on Monday shortly before 8:30 in the morning. Luckily, a Decatur high schooler was able to get a good look at that driver, the car, and the license plate and provide a description to police. Police were able to track down the driver nearly 24 hours later. Now, 38-year-old Al Rahman Heat has been charged with hit and run and failure to yield to a pedestrian.
They strike close to home. Decatur is a tight-knit community. We have a huge walking population. We do everything we can to keep these kids safe. 42 crossing guards is massive, and these people come out every single day to do a thankless job.
Police tell us that students and teachers have been making care packages for Smith and writing him get well soon cards, and they say they did check in with him. He is doing okay. Reporting in Decatur, I'm Madeline Montgomery, Atlanta News First.
Thank you to Madeline for that report. Thank goodness that the crossing guard is doing okay. Looks like a really nice guy and clearly very beloved by everyone in that community. I want to let everybody know about some potential scams that officials are warning of after Hurricane Idalia. The efforts to recover from this deadly storm have been halted as a lot of residents are facing con artists during the cleanup. At this hour, state officials are reminding survivors about criminals looking to take advantage after the disaster. They say, watch out for thieves, but also more importantly, here's what it looks like. They say, don't believe anybody who is promising a disaster grant in return for payment. Also, they say be wary of unexpected phone calls or visits to your home from people who are claiming to be house inspectors. So those are just some of the things that you are being advised to watch out for. Okay, so let's kind of change the topic a little bit. I know a lot of folks are watching us online, maybe on phones and things like that. And we're all on our phones all the time. That's just kind of the time that we're living in. But there's a really interesting study out, and I'm looking for the video here we go. Here's the video. I mean, you know what this looks like, being on your phone all the time. The new iPhone is going to be released at the end of this month. And, like I said, we're all on our phones. We see people all across the world with the new phones, texting, sending, emailing, TikToking, Instagramming, Facebooking, whatever, tweeting or Xing, we should call it. But a new study from UGA finds that people are actually happier having a physical conversation, old-fashioned, in-person conversation. Researchers broke study participants into groups. They were asked to rate their positive emotions towards a specific task with a baseline mood of 52 out of 100. And the group tasked with talking to a stranger had the highest mood increase with a score of nearly 58. A group who watched videos scored their emotions as 55. A group tasked with texting decreased their mood to a 48. So that's that. I guess a good old-fashioned conversation is what's going to make everybody happier. Well, thanks so much for joining us here on Atlanta News First Plus. Of course, if you want to get updates sent right to your phone, just download our free Atlanta News First app, and you can sign up for alerts as you want. And of course, we're always here, however you're watching it, whether it's on Apple TV, Amazon Fire, Roku, or atlantanewsfirst.com. But our next traditional live broadcast to old-fashioned television starts at 3 p.m. And of course, we're going to stream that as well as always. But thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day.